Hello YouTube, I've got another unboxing today. I got a great deal on a Canon 600D, which is the T3i, or in this case it's actually the Rebel X5 I think, or the Rebel Kiss 5. Anyway, this is from digitalrev.com, a Hong Kong based company. The price was lower than the 550D, it's just the body only, but because I'm doing more video now for YouTube I needed a better camera for the videos, and it's actually, well, it's silly because it was cheaper than the older model. I don't know why, I don't know if it's a mistake or what, but anyway, I'll give you the link. It may still be cheap, get hold of it while you can. I'm going to open this up now, and because it takes me ages to unbox things, I'm going to speed it up so that you don't have to watch me cutting myself as I open things. So here we go, time lapse. Okay, we're coming back to normal speed. Here's the good stuff, and this is the bad stuff. So, I'll do the usual thing I do. I'll give you close-up shots and tell you about the items that we're getting, but for now I'm going to open this up. So it's actually the Eos Kiss X5. That's the Rebel T3i or the Canon 600D. They're the same model actually, but the different regional variations in name account for those differences. Let's have a look and see what we get inside. Now this has several facilities over the 550D T3i. That's interesting. I've got a 3-inch screen protector, although the screen on this is 3.2 inch. But it's a nice little freebie anyway. It may work on the Nikon D50-100 or something. I don't know if I'd even use that, to be honest. The EOS Digital Solution Disc, I'm going to show you all the close-ups. The software instruction manual, and I think I've got that in English and Japanese, yeah. I've got the Japanese version of the manual, that's interesting, but the Digital Rev team have put a message that I can download the English version from a specific website, which is fine. Various other leaflets in there, no idea what they are, but there's quite a lot to digest. And the stuff that really counts is the actual good stuff. So let's have a look. We have a Canon strap, as you'd expect. They want advertising, but it's free. We have the US or Japan based, I guess, charger. And there should be an adapter in here to make this into a UK charger. There is. It's not quite the adapter I expected, but it's good enough, so I can charge internationally. That's fine. We have AV and video out cables. We have a USB cable. Packaging. The battery, which is the LPE8. Fantastic. And now the bit that I really want to look at, which is the actual camera body. So let's have a look. Very well packaged, as you can see. By the way, I'm filming this a bit later than I normally do, which is why the background's so dark. But I've got one of the cheap continuous lights on me at the moment through a softbox, so you should still get some reasonable details, and I will give close-ups, as I said. So this is the camera body. Let me give you close-ups and a tour of the back, the menus, the controls, the LCD and so on. So let's have a look at the close-ups then, I promised you. So the box is the standard box that you'd expect from Canon. It's the Kiss X5 version, and it's actually meant to be the kit, but what digitalrev.com have done is simply take out the kit lens and sold the body on its own. So let's have a look at what we get inside. So there's the EOS Digital Instruction Manual in a variety of languages. We have the Digital Solutions Disc, my invoice, the screen protector, and a Japanese manual with a link to get the English manual. Now let's have a look at the good stuff inside. So we have the charger. Now this, it does have the Continental, or not the Continental, but the Japanese or US plug here. So that's fine because I've got the Japanese version of the camera, and they've thoughtfully provided a free UK adapter. So it works fine. I've tried this. It already charged the battery for me. Let me see if I can show you this. It's a fairly decent fit. That just plugs into a UK socket, but if I go travelling, I can use it like this. And I've already checked on eBay, and for about £6, which is $10, I can get an alternative which has a UK fitting. So I have a fairly nice Canon strap, reasonably wide. That will be quite comfortable. As you would expect, the AV cables, audio visual cables, and of course a USB cable. Now the real thing that counts is the camera. So let's have a look a little bit closer at some of the features of the camera. So on the top plate we have the on-off switch, the button for controlling the ISO or the sensitivity. This button is for turning the display on and off. We have the rotating command dial, and then of course the main mode dial here. This is the automatic scene recognition setting. Then we have program, time value, which is Canon's way of saying shutter priority, A value, which is aperture priority, then manual, and the Canon automatic depth program. I'm not overly keen on that myself. I like to choose what's sharp and where, but it's something that's useful if you want to make sure you get plenty of depth in your photos, depth of field. This setting is for flash off. This is the creative settings. Then we have portrait, landscape, macro, sports, night portrait, and finally the movie mode. Standard hot shoe, we don't get, or standard Canon hot shoe, we don't get any protective cover with it. And then to the rear we have the zoom in and out buttons, which are useful when you're magnifying for focusing and so on. Let me just check if the exposure is right so that you can see these details. Yeah, I think it's coming out clearly enough. And then we have a whole host of buttons around the back here. The movie record button, the diopter correction for correcting the viewfinder for your personal vision. That's helpful if you wear glasses and want to take them off so that you can look through the viewfinder and still see a sharp image. Menu button, an information display button, and here we have the tilt and swivel screen. Let me turn the camera on so you can see the quality of that. So we're on night portrait. Let's actually go through the various settings. Now, if I take the lens cap off the lens, which I've borrowed from my brother, let's see what happens when we take a meter reading. So I'm on ISO of 800 and I'm getting program reading of f7.1 at 1/400th of a second. And there's a whole ton of things that you can change down here. I'm going to go through those in a separate video because I don't want to make this one over long, but I will go through all the settings and all the controls, the white balance, the autofocus, the picture style, drive mode, self-timer settings, the quick access button, and then the setting of exposure compensation and so on. If we twist, wrong way, if we tilt and swivel the screen, we can turn it into a traditional type of viewfinder, or LCD screen I should say. So you don't have to use this just for awkward angles, you use it for the normal LCD display. It's very, very clear, as you can see. Even in daylight it's crystal clear. Here's the menu, and we have a whole host of settings again. That's something I'll be going through in separate videos. So all in all, I think this is a great camera, and it's particularly good for video. There we go. Kiss X5. It's exactly the same camera as the T3i and the Canon 600D. Most manufacturers have market segmentation so that they can sell the same item into different market territories at different prices. What I will do in a separate video, I'm going to show you the video from this compared to the video from a Nikon D5100, and I will shoot them side by side so you can compare the video directly. The Nikon D5100 gives you auto only on video. There is a fudge to get some kind of control, but basically the Nikon will choose the settings for you, whereas the 600D will allow you to set the exposure, the white balance, the ISO, the aperture, the shutter speed and so on. You have far more manual control. And if you want to make better quality videos, that's really what you need to do, take manual control. Another thing that the Canon cameras do, which is, in my opinion, better than the Nikon, they give you the Canon Eos Utility for controlling the camera and selecting focus point and so on from a laptop. Whereas the Nikon doesn't give you that. Well, you can buy, I think it's called Capture Pro, which is £200 or £300. So it's an expensive addition to the Nikon, whereas it comes free with the Canon.